June 12th, MPO Executive Finance Committee meeting to order. We have a vote on the approval of the agenda.
Move approval. Second.
By Gatto, second by McKinney. Discussion on the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It is approved. First item today is a vote and approval of the meeting minutes of the April 10th, 2024 meeting.
Second.
Moved by Jones, seconded by Gatto. Any discussion on the minutes? None. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Both same sign. Minutes are approved. Our next item is the consent and vote on the May financial statement. It's over. Do we?
Yeah, I'll speak to that. There's nothing really to speak to. The finance subcommittee reviewed these, did not have any issues with it, so they're there for your recommendation.
Motion. Murray moves. Second. By Murray, second by Walters. Any discussion on the May financials? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Oh, same sign.
Bob's here.
All right. May financials are approved. Up next is our consent and vote on the investment policy. And we'll turn this over to Dylan.
Yeah, the MPO must review and affirm its investment policy annually. We typically do this in June. The last time we made any significant updates to this was in 2021. So last several years, the finance subcommittee and the board have been comfortable with it. Basically, just outline what tools we can use for the investment for the assets we have. We have a checking, a savings, and the IK account that we use. The finance subcommittee reviewed it, staff reviewed it again. We didn't recommend any changes, so we just want to affirm the current policy we have for another year.
Any questions still? Seeing none, in motion.
Move approval.
Second. Moved by Gatto, second by Jones. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's approved. Up next, item 6 is a report vote on the fiscal year 2024-2027 Transportation Improvement Program amendments. Turn this over to Zach.
Thank you. We have a handful of amendment requests for the current TIP. All three of these are from DART. The first one is for a technology and ridership promotion. This was a project that was awarded ICAP funding from the state. They got $80,000 in ICAP funding for this. The total project cost is $100,000. It was awarded but not programmed, and so we need to get it programmed into 2024 so that DART can expend these funds. The second one is a similar situation. It was $104,000, a little over $104,000 in ICAP funding that was awarded by the state to the Route 17 extension to Bondurant. Again, this was awarded but not programmed, so we need to get it into the TIP so that they can expend the funds on this route extension. And then the final one, also from DART, this is for their vehicle purchases. As you'll recall, we did award DART $3.6 million in CRP funding. The DOT has requested that we move these funds into federal fiscal year 2024. Staff had programmed in 25, but DART wanted to see these funds or the DOT, I should say, wanted to see these funds expended sooner. So they made the request to have us put these funds into 2024 so they could get off of their books and get transferred to the FTA. So those are the three TIP amendments we have. The first two, as I mentioned, were ICAP funding, not controlled by the MPO, and this last one was the CRP funding that we just recently awarded. Happy to take any questions you have. Otherwise, this is for you for your approval.
Zach, and I don't even know if you can answer the first one. Can you go back to the first slide? What is that? What is technology and ridership promotion?
I would have to get some additional details on that. My understanding is it deals with I would have to get more details. No, exactly.
All right. So we can have that by the policy meeting. Have that discussion.
Yeah, I just want to I would be curious what that is.
And I would note that for the policy committee, we have DART planned they're going to be the focus, the member update presentation, so they'll be able to speak to whatever questions you have.
That'd be great.
Hey, Zach, I also have a question. So you show the federal aid amount, for example, and what's up there is 80,000, total cost 100,000. Who's making that? Is DART making up the difference there, or is MPO somehow involved?
MPO is not involved. That's DART. Dart will.
Okay, and the same is true for the extension of Bonner Ant.
Yep, all three of
Difference,
those, yeah.
4,000 to 130,000.
Correct.
We hope we're not.
What's it?
I hope we're not making that.
Yeah.
No, the
Very-
MPO,
this is
the
just-
MPO has no money. None of the matching money is coming from the MPO on any of these three projects.
The tip is just the mechanism we need to go through to get them to spend.
Very good. Thank you for clarifying.
All right, any other questions? Entertain,
I'll move it.
Second.
Gatto and McKinney, second. Any further discussion? None, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's approved. Item 7, report and vote on draft fiscal year 2025-28 transportation improvement program. Turn this back over to Zach.
Thank you. Staff has developed the draft 25 through 28 tip in preparation to submit that to the Iowa DOT by the June 15th deadline. We have asked your technical committee members to review the project list within the draft tip and make sure that all the projects are programmed correctly. So your staffs are currently reviewing this. Any comments we receive from them or the Iowa DOT will incorporate into the final draft, which is due July 15th. So once we get those comments back, we will incorporate those in the draft tip. We do have a public input meeting also scheduled for July 9th, and any comments we receive at that will be included in the final as well. So just want to make you aware that the draft tip has been completed and will be submitted on to the Iowa DOT by June 15th. We do have a couple more slides in here just to show you the fiscal constraint of both the SDBG and the TAP programs. We are required to make sure that our tip is fiscally constrained on the SDBG side. And you can see there by our positive balance on the bottom line of that table that we are fiscally constrained for our tip. And then also in the TAP program, excuse me, we are not required to be fiscally constrained by the DOT, but you can see that we are also fiscally constrained for the TAP program. Happy to take any questions you have, but just wanted to make you aware that we have the draft ready to submit to the Iowa DOT, and it is on here for a vote. So happy to take any questions.
Zach? All right, thank you, Zach. Doesn't appear to be anybody. Would entertain a motion.
Would. Second.
By Hendwick, second by Walters. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. Up next, item 8, report and vote on downtown water trail change orders. Zach, you're up again.
Thank you. We have a couple of change orders that we've been made aware of for the downtown water trails projects. The first one is for the Scott Avenue Dam mitigation. This is the second change order that we've received on this project. For this one, it's to extend the stage 1 completion date. So this is a schedule related change order. The original date was May 30th, 2024 for stage 1. It needs to be shifted to June 21st of 2024. The reason for this is that the City of Des Moines levee project extended past its August 1st deadline back in 2023. And so it's pushed the downtown or the Scott Avenue Dam deadline as well. There aren't any budget impacts related to this change. And I would also note that we are expecting to see another schedule related change order for the Scott Avenue Dam based on the high water levels that we've been experiencing. It will probably push the schedule by at least another month, possibly 2. So we will have a separate change order in the future to address that, but this one is related to the levee work. And then the other change order is for Harriet Street. This is the first change order we've had on the Harriet Street project. The changes here are they needed to add a polymer grid and a modified subbase due to the poor soils. They're in the process of doing a parking lot out there, and the soils they encountered are requiring them to add that polymer base and a sub base that was not originally in the bid. They also had some footings for the pipe aprons that were not in the original bid that needed to be added in. The majority of this change order, however, has to do with trash and debris removal. As they've gotten onto the site, they have encountered a lot more trash and debris than they were expecting that they've had to haul off for disposal. And so the total cost of this change order with those 3 different items is a little over $56,000. part of our process is to bring all these change orders to the board for approval. So that's what we're doing today. Happy to take any questions you have. Otherwise, these change orders are before you for your approval.
Zach, do we know if the trash and debris were encampments that were closed down there?
I think my understanding is it was more related to, there might have been some of that, but I think the site has also been used just to dump stuff over the years. And so I
Yeah.
think the majority of what they've run into that had to be hauled off is just stuff that got dumped down there, and they've
Okay.
uncovered it as they've started to excavate the site.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Moved by Murray, seconded by Jones. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Chair, I'm gonna abstain and co-chair icons.
Okay,
For the record.
all right, thank you.
Does that mean I'm on the board and I don't need to abstain, do I?
I think that's probably one of your personal decisions and involvement, Scott.
I mean, I've been on the board the whole time. I voted on every single item. So,
I think you have to stand. I mean, as long as you acknowledge the fact that you're on board.
all right, I've been on the board since day one, so, but I voted every.
Motion passes with one abstention.
Okay.
All right, moving on to item 9. Vote on self-certification. That's what we're doing.
Thank you. This is something we have to do annually based on federal requirements. We have to self-certify our planning process. Every 4 years, we go through a more formal process with USDOT, but they like us to self-certify and just acknowledge that we are following all the rules and regulations put in place. So up there on the screen, you can see the various, there are 8 different acts, or primarily, so ADA or Older Americans Act, Clean Air Act, those kind of things, as well as different things from US code saying that we have what they call a 3C planning process, continuing, comprehensive, cooperative, those sorts of things. So this is just to acknowledge that we do these activities, that we are in compliance with these. The way we document this is in the tip. So you just approved the draft of the tip. There's an appendix to that outlines our self-certification. So this would acknowledge that we are all on board with putting that certification in that document. If there's any questions about any of this or how we go about these things, happy to do it, happy to address them. Otherwise, this is kind of a routine thing we go through anyway.
Questions, Bill? All right, seeing none, would entertain a motion.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Gatto, second by McKinney. Any additional discussion? None? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes. Moving on to item 10, report and vote on US DOT discretionary grant applications. We have Carl.
Yes, thank you. Regarding a few of the infrastructure grant program is back for round 2, which started funding came out this last May. Opens up an opportunity for $1.3 billion funding. Multiple feelings, the electricity, hydrogen, natural gas. Last application of electric vehicle charging. There's 2 opportunities for funding. One is to resubmit previously submitted applications that had a scoring of recommended or highly recommended. Are about 120 of the applications previously submitted received not recommended or applications. We are not eligible to resubmit for that. So we're going to be focusing our application on CFI grant, which allows $800 million in funding. We work with MPO for regional application.
Questions for Carl?
Why will we, do we know why?
Yeah, so the federal flag has out. So we reached out to schedule a meeting and learn more about that. Perhaps subject to hopefully grant.
And we'll be working with the communities. That the way this worked is we just had a lot of sites included in one application for the whole region. And so we'll be working with the communities to reevaluate those sites. I think that might have been part of the issue, was that some of the sites just weren't what USDOT was looking for in what made sense from their perspective of where EV charging should go. So that's something we will be able to reevaluate. Questions, Carl? There's a second.
No.
Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program, is up for $45 million in funding. On already identified active transportation projects, and also opens up the planning grants. So, plans to apply for a planning grant of about $200,000 to help identify network and to that we would be on the line about that.
I would note with both of these, we have our decision matrix now, so we took this through here. These are regional, these are transportation related. We thought it made sense that the MPO should be the ones pursuing these, but part of that decision matrix is to bring that back before the board to get your approval for this. So the one we did last year, the EV charging one, we did that last year. There's no match requirement from the MPO because the communities, if we receive the funding, they would be responsible for the match for whatever sites they might have. An alternate transportation one, active transportation one, that would require a $50,000 match if we get the full $200,000 we're asking for. I would note we do have funds, reserve funds in our budget. We could do that, but I want to make sure everyone's aware of what we're talking about, what the implications might be if we were to apply and receive that. There's probably other ways we could go about raising that $50,000 if we wanted to. We could do a special assessment or something like that, but we do have adequate reserves that we could take that 50,000 from and still meet our threshold for requirements for operations. So I want to make sure that's very clear to everybody and address any questions that might bring.
Is the planning grant for the whole region? Or, where would you,
Yeah, so the planning grant would be for tree, basically an active transportation plan for the region. Some of this we have already had, and we have a plan right now called Connect, and it's very out of date, but it's looking at trails and on-street bike facilities and so forth. So we've already had this in the works to create that primarily through the long-range plan, although this would allow us to do a little more, in-depth work on it. The other thing that this could do is implement a lot of the results that might come out of the comprehensive safety action plan, because there's going to be a lot of, high injury roadway networks that might stand to have improvements on the active transportation system. So these things this could be an implementation to that plan or further planning based on that. Thunder from you if you have other thoughts.
Does any of this relate to any state, is there a state opportunity for some of these dollars as well that was either not applied for or not received? Or is that something totally different?
There are state funds for like recreational trails and so forth, but that's not what we're talking about here. The other one that you might be thinking of was there was funding through the EPA that we had a discussion about whether the MPO should be the applicant. We chose not to do that. Polk County did that, is doing that work. It's not quite the same. Sure, they're by having an active transportation system, you're addressing carbon emissions and so forth, but they're not quite.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, we would entertain a motion on both of these items. Approval. Second. Moved by Murray, second by Walton. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. Move on to item 11, other non-action items of interest through the committee. Do we have anything you want to axe the grind with?
I do have one quick update. Next week at the policy committee, Cass will be back to talk about some of the work she's doing on the salary or the human capital plan as well as the governance plan. So just a heads up that she didn't have information quite ready for this group, but she'll have next week.
Want to have anything?
I do. The MPO hosted a meeting last week on the safety action plan for the community, and I was just wondering if it was productive another way, or what kind of comments or.
Zach, if you're on still, if you heard that question about the feedback we got from the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan public meetings. We've been doing a lot of meetings, so You might have a-
Dylan, I couldn't quite hear the question. Which meeting was it referencing?
Last Wednesday evening at the Franklin Avenue Library.
Last Wednesday at the library, Zach.
I
would
would
note
have to
that-
circle back with the consultants on that one, to see what kind of attendance we had for it. But we can get that information out to you. There was a question whether or not it was productive. Did I hear that right?
Just wondering if it was well attended or what kind of comments you got.
Just looking
Yes,
for general.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
get that information to you.
I know that the consultants have noted that some of these meetings are very well attended, some of them are not, and part of that is by design. I don't want to say by design, but some of them are with a very specific set of stakeholders, so either it's city staff or council members. Others are more open to the public, and as we get later on into the summer, we will have dedicated, very public open meetings for the project. I don't remember for sure what the Franklin Library one was designed.
I think it was just general public, and our staff engineer drove by and said it looked like there were a lot of people there, so.
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll reach out to Mitzi, the consultant, and find out exactly how many people they had at that one. She usually reports that stuff to us at our check-in meetings that we do every other week. So our next meeting is next week, so she probably has it on our agenda to talk about that. But I'll reach out to her and find out and let you know.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Anyone else have anything else for the good of the cause? Seeing none, our next meeting is July 17th, 11:30, same place. Nothing else, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.